My name is Cassie Jones, and I'm here with Jim Morningstar, who is the host of the upcoming Living on Purpose course. And we're going to spend some time today talking about it, reflecting on it, and see what it's all about. So we'll start with, hi, Jim.
Hi, Cassie.
Welcome.
It's so good to be here with you and talk about one of my favorite things, which is living on purpose. To me, living on purpose is living with fulfillment in our life. So at the end of our life, we have a true sense of, yes, I did what I wanted to. I lived my heart's desire. Now, the mind always has its own story about, oh, you could have done more, or why didn't you do this, or regrets. But there's something deep inside of us which knows when we are on track or not. Because in terms of life fulfillment, we all need pleasure. That's, to me, it's like the base of the pyramid of life satisfaction. Pleasure is an important part. We know often that, yes, this is right for me because I enjoy this kind of food, or I like grapes, and yes, they're healthy for me. But if I keep eating more and more grapes, pretty soon it's not pleasurable anymore. So pleasure is fleeting. Pleasure comes and goes. Beyond pleasure on the pyramid of satisfaction is when you do something that comes from your talents and you give it to someone else and they return their gratitude or in exchange, then there's a mutuality. That is satisfaction. So beyond pleasure, there's a satisfaction that comes from our mutuality in life, what we give and receive to other people.
Mhm.
And that's often quite pleasurable, but sometimes it has some challenges in it. Now, greater than either of these, however, is the sense of purpose, which is a deep inner calling, which sometimes requires us to stretch and is not always highly pleasurable. And we don't always get acknowledgement for it or immediate return for it. But we know it's right. We know it's something that we are called to, part of our mission, part of our covenant, as it were, with Source. And so when we get more and more clear on our purpose, then all of the goals we have in life are under that umbrella. So I might be making a choice between getting more education or getting a higher paying job. Now, there's no ultimate right or wrong in that, but the yardstick of purpose lets me know now for this time in my life and for what I really am here for, this is what's right for me. So it becomes a very useful handicap. It's not just a high spiritual principle, it becomes something that I use continuously to keep me on track.
Mhm. So you chose to call this upcoming course Living Your Purpose, Living Your Purpose. And who is this class for? Like, how would I know that it's the right one for me?
Well, there's also a subtitle in the course, which is Advanced Career Apprenticeship. And some people may read that and say, well, I'm retired, or I don't really have a career. I'm just doing caretaking of my family. But we all have a calling. I believe we all have a career and we all have a purpose. So this course is for anyone who is willing to grow and have more clarity and more alignment and support in that. I was raised somewhat in the school of do it yourself, pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. And more, I'm realizing that's not why we were all put together here on earth. There's a reason for community, a reason for our using our collective intelligence together, which makes it better than any one individual. And so this is for people also who are willing to get more support from like spirited people who also have a spiritual calling as well as a calling to do the tasks in life, be it raise a family, be it work on a job, be it just enjoying the fruits of the universe. It sounds pretty broad, but I'm saying it's for everyone. But I guess the key there is for everyone who's willing to grow and to work together with others in that growth.
And what will they learn in living your purpose?
Well, this is what's exciting for me, Cassie, is because over the past 50 years of my teaching career, I have at certain times focused in areas of education, learning, and spiritual growth. And this course brings together many of them into a condensed and, I'd say, cost-effective platform. So one of the things we're going to learn right off the bat is, what is our purpose? How do we clarify that? How can we put it into words which don't confine it? Because I do these an exercise, what is my purpose, periodically. The words change, but the spirit grows. And so it's getting a sense of what is the purpose that I'm called to in this lifetime. And then to look at what are the resources that I have to help me with that purpose. For many years, I taught courses on the chakras or energy centers in the body. And I use them every day because they're not just ethereal spiritual things. They connect with plexes of nerves in our body, which are centers of intelligence. And so these were derived by ancient seekers, not just out of their imagination, but out of really listening to what unifies the body's different ways of functioning so that it's in unison and harmonized together. And so we will learn tools and exercises to identify and to keep tuned these energy centers in our body. Now, we'll also learn the use of guides and guidance. Again, this is not just something esoteric and spiritual. Some people think, well, I don't have a guide. None ever appeared to me. Well, there's a rule in the world of spirit that guides can't interfere with your life or do things for you. But you have to ask. And knowing how to ask is a key. This is something we will learn, is knowing how to ask. Because guides are just inspirational figures. And they could be spiritual figures that you have from a background in spirituality, or they could just be ancestors that you've had, a grandmother, a grandparent, a great grandparent. They could be an animal guide, something that is inspiring to you for its faithfulness. Dogs are great examples of faithfulness in life. Or it could even be parts of nature. Trees, for example, are a very strong guiding force for me. But you will get to pick the guides that work for you along with each of your energy centers.
Mm-hmm.
So we will create a circle of guides that are practically applicable to your everyday life. And I do exercises and I will teach exercises for how to use these inspirational figures to help you with your energy centers and bringing balance. That's the key. We're looking for balance in life. So, in the first center, safety. People who don't have that center well established often feel unsafe and have, well, money problems and things that keep them with a sense of security in life. The second chakra is relationships. How do people deal with relationships in a way that are balanced, not making enemies here and there, giving their power away in relationships? Which takes us to the third energy center or chakra is power. How do we have an identity in which we become authentic within our own power? The fourth is love, which is really the balance because it brings us home to the center. And how do we translate love into all the circumstances in our life? How do we tell the truth in the fifth energy center? It has helped me so much when I get confused or in illusion or feel in conflict. No, tell the truth, Jim. Who are you? Why are you here? And I say this to myself, and then it's easier to share it honestly with others. Vision. holy vision. How do I see beyond the dichotomous illusions of the mind, always polarizing things? How do I get to the essence of what is before me and what is given to me? And in the seventh chakra, the sense of spirit and connection with spiritual guidance. How do I open that so that it's not just something I do once a week or even once a day in the morning when I'm doing my daily practices, but it's something that becomes a companion throughout the day. And I include something that's not often included with energy centers, which is the eighth. And that is our higher self. And that holds the repository of wisdom from all lifetimes. Tapping into that is like a storehouse. We have a treasure chest of wisdom. And we don't always know how to tap into that. So that's what I'm excited about is sharing some of these tools, practicing them, and in working with community.
So much. There's so much goodness, it sounds like, in this course. I feel like when you were talking about the cohorts, I'd like to know a little bit more about that because I know from my own personal experience, what keeps me coming back again and again to everything you do is your sense and your love for soul family, for community. How are cohorts going to be structured, or how is that going to be part of this course?
Well, cohorts for me are the upgrade, as it were, for classes that I've taught in the past. Because even though we have people work in partnerships or even small groups independently on their own, that often doesn't have the sense of cohesion that having one of the main teachers of our school be there to help create the structure and to for 2 hours each month to have people come together and breathe together, strengthen their connection, work on their unique project, because every person is going to have their own project. And oh no, not more work to do. I've got enough projects, thank you. Well, no, listen, the kind of project that we're looking for here and get support from our cohorts is not extra work, something extra due to please the teacher or something. No, this is something that we really wanted to do, but thought, oh, I don't have the resources. I don't have the time. Something we've been holding back, but really want. And now is the opportunity to get the support to do that. And so that's another thing that we will get in the cohort. But there's something else which is really unique and central that will take place in the cohorts. And this is what I call the career autobiography. What is that? Well, it means we are going to look at our lineages of how we got to do what we're doing today. What are our signature strengths? And maybe where did they come from? We actually look back at the jobs and things that we did in this lifetime, which are not at random. You will see as we put this together, no, even that lawn cutting job I had as a teenager taught me something that is still not to cut corner. You can do the whole job. Taught me something that is adding to my fulfillment and skill set right now. But it goes back further than that. And this was amazing to me when I had to, in my own graduate school education, I had to take family therapy and study my own lineage and begin to see, holy mackerel, here's what grandpa did, and there's what grandma, and there's what great grand, and here's how successful they were at it, and here's what they passed down. I began to see, oh, I'm the product of a lot more things than just what I dreamt up going to school. It's amazing. And then we even get to play maybe with doing some role playing with different parts of our ancestry. This is not something new that I just dreamt up. We did in the School of Spiritual Psychology. It was part of our third year course, a major part. So I know it works and I know it gives amazing things. And I know you need some structure for that. Just what I said to you right now. You might say, yeah, that's interesting. I think I'll think about, well, no, let's have some structure so that you know exactly how to put things together and present them and get then support of your cohort, because each member of the cohort will have their day. Each member will have their time of presenting, getting support, getting affirmations for them, how they want to build on that lineage, what their next step is in their own growth, in their own career, and even what would be some additional educational steps that they might take or experiential things that they might do. And using the combined intelligence of like-spirited cohorts. Now, if we were trying to do this with 25 people all together, no one would get enough time or enough attention or enough concentrated and focused support. That's why we have a 3-hour class for 5 Sundays, which we learn the tools of the chakras, the guides, projects, and then each month there is a 2-hour cohort meeting at a time agreed upon by the class teacher as well as the 5 or 6 members. And together then we have the whole enchilada, as it were. By the end, everyone has got to get the tools of the chakras, feedback, because we'll again have a WhatsApp group where people will share each day as they choose what they discovered in working with their chakras. Again, it's group education, group learning, and group celebration, which is what we do at the end. Because this will carry on far beyond the 5 months of January through May. This will carry on, hopefully, throughout our lives.
Wow. So let me just do a little recap. So in this course, you're going to learn how to work with your chakras. You're going to learn how to call in different guides for your chakras. You're going to look at your purpose and then go through your family kind of history and your own history and start weaving some of that together. You're going to get cohorts, like your own little support systems within a bigger system. You're going to meet 3 hours a month as a larger group to learn these tools. And then you're going to meet 2 hours a month in these smaller groups to kind of strengthen and work on some different things together.
And breathe together. Boy, you've really been listening, Cassie.
Yeah.
Now, there's other things that will be thrown in here because I'm just one teacher. And we have our whole faculty now of our seasoned teachers who've been working with their own spiritual guidance and their own areas of expertise. And they're going to be infusing this into the Sundays as well as being leaders of the cohorts. So it's going to be a team effort in terms of what we bring. We're bringing the whole school together for this course. That's what gives me goosebumps.
So many magical teachers and humans in your school, and I can attest, just yes, how much knowledge is in a felt sense body,
right.
Which is a very deeper sense of being in community and with teachers. And so I am so excited to see how it all aligns.
Just to be specific, in case people are wondering, the other teachers are Jane Ader, Lenny Delvecchio, Andy High and Julie Banachek, Kate Becker, and Sherry Ward. All seasoned teachers.
So amazing. And so, is there anything else when you think about this that you might have missed or anything important before we talk about how people can register?
The important thing for me, as in all the courses, is that you bring your individual creativity into it. This is not learning a bunch of facts or even getting a bunch of pats on the back from fellow students. This is about making it your own. So anyone coming into this course is not going to be sitting in the bleachers watching things go on. It's going to have very individual, direct participation, and you will be a co-creator in the product here. This is not a spectator sport. This course will be very hands-on, and what you put into it is also a great part of what you get out of it. So if you're prepared and you're ready to roll up your sleeves, so to speak, and to dive in, this is a life changer.
I love that. I keep hearing and thinking about how many people I know in my personal and professional life that have been talking about, I don't know, I want to do something different, but I don't know how to get there or where we're going and how to bring something. It's almost like we're needing more spaces where the creativity starts to come in and be the driver. And that's what I feel from this conversation. It's like this is a place where people can come and allow some of that to move, because a lot of what we're trying to figure out in our head isn't necessarily where we're going on the planet. And we need more of that creative energy to help us really find maybe a next level or a new version or a new path, or really whatever it is that our purpose, our larger self is guiding alongside our heart and body.
Bless you for saying that, Cassie, because that is really the essence of it. It's not, oh, I've got a great program and great tools that are going to work for you. I don't know that. I know that they've worked for me and they worked for all of the teachers that were here. But you, as a participant, are invited to come in and get support to open up to your guidance and find out what your unique covenant is with Source and what your next step in fulfilling that covenant is.
So beautiful, Jim. If someone wants to sign up, we're just going to give them all the details, I assume, but anything with that registration piece that you want to name?
The registration link will be here, and you make payment and you send to me any information you'd like me to know about what you want from the course, too. Now, that's not a requirement, but it's a bonus, because when you register and when you sign up, you'll be getting me on board immediately with what your goals are, which I will also share with the other teachers.
Sounds magical, and I can't wait to see how it all unfolds.
And I'm so glad you'll be there to help with the co-creation of it, Cassie.
Thank you so much, Jim, for your time and for just giving what you give to the world. Such a beautiful, humble example of someone who knows so much and yet just keeps giving and creating these containers for all of us to continue to step into who we are. So bless you, bless you.
Thank you so much. To me, it is living my purpose. And why I do it is I continue to have playmates who are also living their purpose as you are, Cassie.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.